Last time on Dragon Ball Z, after making some rather interesting observations around Goku and present company, Dabura realized that not all present may have been as pure as heart as once thought, and briefly retreated from his tango with Gohan in order to inform Babidi that with his newly discovered strategy, the vile birth of Majin Buu was well on its way. And no sooner than Dabura appeared, the Saiyan Prince Vegeta seemed to be overcome with something. As he began nursing his head, in the following moment began to overflow with power as he smiled wryly, and he had but one demand. Fight me, Kakarot. Let's settle this here and now. Knowing that this would be a match to remember, Bobby Boy returned the Z Company to the ring, where Vegeta began to mercilessly attack the audience, taking their lives in cold blood in order to send a simple message: that he would have his rematch with Goku, and no was not an option. Disgusted by his methods but respectful of his earnestness, Goku agreed to Vegeta's match on one condition: that the two would be transported far away from where anyone else could get hurt. Not even Supreme Kai's desperate pleas could change his mind, as Goku, Vegeta, Kai, and Gohan were transported to a remote wasteland where the Saiyan warriors could have their match and the groundwork for Buu's resurrection could enter its curtain call. Realizing there was no stopping what's to come, Kai wished Goku the best as he informed him of his plan to take his son to the belly of the beast, where they would do everything in their power to stop Dabura and Babidi from the resurrection of Cthulhu, or die trying. And with that, the time for words was over, and a grudge years in the making was finally to be laid to rest. Homies, the first two punches thrown in this fight tell you everything you need to know about how this finna go. You already know Vegeta had been itching for over a decade at this point to knock the rings out of Kakarot, so he was the first to pull up and started things off with a two-piece. Now, even though they missed, you gotta peep Goku's reaction, because I can't lie to you, the homie looked high-key afraid for his life. He saw how fast them boys were getting thrown, and a bead of sweat started dripping down his forehead as he realized that this fella is really trying to delete me right now. Vegeta continues with a flurry until he catches Goku slipping and hits him with a knee to the gut that almost made my man throw up his own lunch, and then an elbow to the back of the head that I know had my man's reconsidering the whole fight. Then down below, as he's doing everything on Popo's green earth to collect his breath, this man Vegeta descends from the heavens with the nastiest falcon kick of all time, upturning the earth and having the spot looking like when the Incredible Hulk loses a game of Apex before jumping back in the air and squaring up again. This fella Vegeta was really on this man's ass the whole fight, but you already know that things were just beginning. After Goku finally registered that this man was trying to make an orphan out of his kids, the two squared up and came at each other full throttle with a flying knee. And somebody tell me why these fellas were going bone for bone no diddy with it too. Just watching the nonsense gave me a Charlie horse, shout out to BoJack Horseman. Vegeta breaks the silence and starts hitting Goku with a little foreplay, blushing a little bit, talking about nice knee, Baka. It's not like I like you or anything. Then, as if these fellas choreographed the whole thing, the star-crossed Saiyan lovers interlocked fingers and started throwing synchronized knees at one another, determined to end both their professional and amateur ball careers in the next 20 minutes. I know somewhere out there Blake Griffin was having night sweats listening to what these fellas were doing to each other. Vegeta's the first one to catch Goku lacking though and hits him with the Heihachi Mishima special, driving his rock-hard Saiyan 9 head directly into Goku's face, and while Buddy was still trying to figure out the name of that freight train that just drove past, Vegeta continues the onslaught, just gut punching this man Goku one after another. The sickest part of it though was Lil Bro's face. Just look at this man, y'all. Goku out here close to coughing up kidney stones, while Vegeta out here in his eyeliner looking immaculate with the biggest smile on his face I've ever seen him produce. Do you know how demonic you gotta be to be punching the life out of somebody with a legit grin on your face? Man out here on a sneak over Sean Strickland time and straight using Kakarot as a life-size heavy bag. Ain't no way Buddy should have been out here cheesing the way he was. Goku must have had an out-of-body experience though and realized how weak he was looking, because after catching a few more of those gut shots, he yoinked up Vegeta's hands and started kneeing Best Buddy on the side of the cranium, making sure that Vegeta knew even if he does somehow take the dub, they both about to be on their Antonio Brown timing, and then sent Vegeta flying into a nearby rock bed. Vegeta just sat there like a gingerbread cutout for a hot minute, just soaking it all in, before eventually thanking Goku for finally waking up and releasing a barrier of energy around him, letting Goku know that the Mickey Mouse gloves were coming off. A little part I like is when both of these fellas squared up right next to each other, double pisted chesty, and Vegeta stares at Goku with pure ice in his veins, while Goku was just smiling, truly enjoying this whole affair despite how clown shoes the circumstances are. Even in a moment like this, dude can't hide the fact that he loves a good scrap, and after a quick second, Vegeta peeps this, and his mean mug fades and turns into a smile too. Recognizing that as much as this circus act across from him gets on his nerves, they are very much the same, and hands like what these two were about to throw only come around so often. Then these guys start throwing them. All you hear is mortars going off in the background as the two throw synchronized straights and duff each other right in the face, creating one of the sickest desktop backgrounds on the market. Then once again, for whatever reason, this man Goku forgot he could guard and starts taking straight hooks to the midsection yet again. Bro wanna be Rocky Balboa so bad, but it gets worse. As Vegeta gets a little extra elevation and knees this man directly in the back of the neck, knees him again in the gut, while simultaneously elbowing him, turning this man into the letter U before the cameraman had to cut to some B-roll because there was no way he could show us how bad Goku was getting cooked and have the footage stay up on YouTube. As the two continue with the slaughter, trading blows back and forth, Kakarot decides he's feeling petty and that he needs to get his lick back for all those gut checks he was taking, getting some distance and hitting Vegeta straight in the breadbasket with a rider kick, leaving the man speechless. Straight disgusting work. It was so bad, it looked like Goku's foot was coming out the other side of homie's rib cage. Had the man's whole spinal cord hitting the gritty. But he got a guaranteed scoliosis diagnosis off this one, no doubt about it. Then just when Goku thought he could finish blowing Vegeta's back out in time to do the same to his wife, man vanishes and hits him with a Pui Pui special, pulling out the defibrillator and sending Goku to the ground, damn near living under a rock. Don't call him Patrick. Vegeta stares at the hole he left for a long minute and looks like he thought Goku might really have gave up the ghost this time, before Buddy reveals that he was just playing peekaboo with him, launching a beam to which Vegeta responds by doing the same, eventually causing a massive clash and explosion where it's unclear what even happened for a hot second. Then the cameraman takes us to Kakarot's POV, whose cheeks are so clapped by this point, dude forgot he knew how to fly and was just hanging on the side like one of those early 2000s cat memes. Right when Goku thought he was finally gonna have a chance to take a much needed breather, the whole thing turns into a horror movie as he gets lifted up into the air and there's none other than Vegeta holding him by the wrist smiling. When you got a grown man holding you up in the air with a single hand like a prize trout, you know it's curtains, I fear. Vegeta returns the favor from earlier, chucking Kakarot across the room and into a nearby rock bed, letting him know it's his turn to be the gingerbread cutout this time. Now this is the part that kills me and really confirmed that Vegeta was off a pack, because Buddy points two fingers at the understandably distressed Kakarot and the beam somehow formed these magical cuffs, low-key on some BDSM timing. I put money on the fact this is the type of stuff Vegeta be on when him and Bulma off a good 5 mimosas at Capsule Corp, but he decided that now looked like a fitting time to try it out on his indisposed boy toy, since it looked like there would be no objections. All Vegeta had to do was put on a leather mask and the fan fiction was writing itself. I know the prince had been waiting for this precise scenario for years. Homie vanishes up to the bound and gag Goku and cleared his throat, ready to pop off with the nastiest promo this trifling ass planet's ever seen. What's the matter, big fella? This fight ain't going exactly how you planned it, huh? Old Vegeta's just light work. His old man is 6 feet under, but he's still just a prince, ain't that right? Bro, what type of time you on? I didn't say silence! As the man proceeds to bitch slap the dude twice in a row, looking him straight in the eyes. Real talk, y'all, I would rather get boomed than have another man get this off on me. What Vegeta was putting Buddy through here was insane and he knew it. Oh, don't like that. Feeling embarrassed? Maybe even humiliated even. No, you don't even know the half, my friend. How about you come talk to me when Toriyama hasn't let you get a clean dub in over 100 episodes, and when you do, it's against jobbers with no clout, and you can't even get accolades for when you backshot them. Now listen well to my filler backstory monologue while we buy the animators enough time to finish this climax of our battle where I'll clean you up proper. And Vegeta... And despite my meta commentary, this section's actually really sick. While he's got a captive audience, Vegeta basically starts rapping about some of the reasons behind his perpetual rest and bitch face, explaining to Goku how he's come to blame him for everything that's going wrong in his life. From the moment he lost that beam struggle back on Earth, dude got mentally touched. And from every arc past this point, the world seemed to be in a Groundhog's Day-esque loop of let's watch Prince Vegeta take another L. Everything from watching Goku be the first to take the title of the legendary Super Saiyan, which he saw as his royal birthright, to watching Kakarot's mongrel of a son overcome the strongest opponent the Earth had ever known that he himself stood no match for. Since meeting Goku, Vegeta has played the role of second and his patience has reached its limit. Then the prince goes in his bag for yet another bar, informing the Clown King Kakarot that every breath he's allowed to take is an affront to his honor, and on the honor of his royal name, the humiliation could no longer stand. Then as Vegeta raises his arm and gears up for what looks like the finishing blow, this man Goku hits him with the "I got one more in me," and pulls a move that had your boy in tears. Rather than busting out the rocks like a normal man and then coming at Vegeta, this man Goku hits Vegeta with a sacrilegious two-piece, using a rock formation that previously served as his gingerbread home as boxing gloves, punching this man Vegeta in the next week, and then sending him into a hillside on the other side of the map. This was straight on some Tekken 8 type energy. Goku socked the prince so hard he knocked him into a new level. As Goku follows up, he gets into the cavern and starts going full Zen mode, giving shades of the Yakon fight where he shut his eyes and let Vegeta know that he might not be able to see his vertically challenged frame at this moment. He can definitely smell the lack of basic hygiene. And then just like an RKO, out of nowhere comes an energy blast. But Goku was on one and blocked that nonsense out the way. But that's exactly what this menace Vegeta was waiting for, as he yokes him up in a Nelson and starts whispering sweet nothings in his ear, telling him that after this next move, he's quite sure the clown will really start to get the point, as he rushes the seemingly helpless Goku straight towards a nearby rock, looking to put a galactic donut straight through his midsection. Goku collects himself in time though, blowing Vegeta off no diddy, before launching the classic straight at him, and right after Vegeta returns the favor and the two get into a beam struggle right in this little ass room. Now I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure in the English dub, as the camera panned outside the cave, you can hear these two grown men screaming their special moves at one another at the top of their lungs like professional LARPers. I'm almost positive you can hear this man Vegeta screaming Gallic Gun when he clearly suited up for a final flash. But he really said screw it, ain't like either of these moves ever worked anyway, and just threw out the first name that came to mind so he could match Kakarot's energy. After the two finished shooting up the club, they just kind of stood there for a hot second, admiring the work like, damn, we really are those guys for real, before engaging in another not so quick flurry before breaking for some pillow talk, which always makes me laugh, but even more so when you know the context of the smoking gun Goku's been hiding this whole time. Vegeta, ever cutting a promo, tells Goku that even though he's getting his senzus pushed in, he's got to admit that Goku must have been getting pretty sturdy up there to keep up with him after inhaling that Majin pack. Then this man Goku has the nerve to be like, yeah, Vegeta, you're pretty good too. Your stamina's going up quite a bit, and I can tell you've been working on some new tricks. Goku really out here playing in this man's face the whole time, acting like he didn't have a whole new ass form he could have erased the rest of Vegeta's hairline with if he was really feeling like being that guy. Now don't get me wrong, I know Goku didn't want to do it as a show of respect to Vegeta. Homie knew he would have been the Prince's 13th reason if after working as hard as he did the past 7 years, selling his soul to the devil and risking universal annihilation only to watch this fella Goku go hold my sacred water, erase his eyebrows and hit that SSJ3, but he would have boomed himself on the spot. But on the other hand, Goku not giving Vegeta everything he had in the bag is actually more salt in the curb stomping him. Vegeta was out here laying all his cards on the table, risking everything that mattered to him just so the two could duke it out full throttle, only to have Goku sandbag him and him not find out till late in the fourth quarter in an offhand conversation. It all works out though. Kami knows this man Vegeta needed a breadstick on the board after how lemony snickets his boxing career has been up to this point. And it led to the fella being able to complete his character development arc, so how you gonna hate on that? Getting back to the chuckleheads though, the fight continues as the Warriors go into full dogfight mode, with Vegeta shooting some pew-pews at Goku before landing yet another life-changing gut check to Goku. And quick note, this one was so bad Buddy's pupils started dilating, before yoking him up again and experimenting with the move he's been wanting to try out since the Namek Saga. In the middle of their scrap, when he was getting mulched, Vegeta's intrusive thoughts must have won out at some point and had this dude thinking about how Zarbon did him back in the day, because he got himself in position behind Kakarot and hit him with a Ryu Hayabusa patented Azuna drop, before decking him a few times for good measure, and the fight made its way back to the ground. Here's where we start to get into the climax of this damn near half-an-hour war between these two animals, and you probably got money on the fact that it once again begins with Vegeta spitting bars to Kakarot. Goku stares stanced up at Vegeta across from him and starts glazing unprompted, giving Vegeta a low-key sneak diss with the fact that homie isn't asleep already. He knows Vegeta been putting in an insane amount of work to close the gap, likely even more than he was, and he knows for sure he was out there getting active in the other world. Vegeta quickly deads that though, graciously asking Kakarot to remove his polar pop out his mouth when they both know it wasn't enough, and that's the whole reason he let Babidi riz him up. Goku had a feeling, but hearing Vegeta finally admit it takes him back a bit. But the Prince's second place continues, telling him that once he saw Rufus's ability to bring out the dog in an absolute nobody like Big Vich, his mind was running wild thinking of what he could become if he got a hold of the Majin boost. So he allowed his brain to get tongue-kissed by the Magister in hopes of finally evening things up. Seeing Bozo the Saiyan wipe out Yakon the way he did let Vegeta know that all the work he did up to that point wasn't enough, and it started stacking on his mental just how much he had changed. Man started to realize that the Capsule Corp Dimmadome he had been receiving really started to put him in a chokehold. Instead of bathing in his enemy's blood, he was showering in suds. Instead of dog walking his ops, he was walking the family dog with no opposition in sight. Instead of busting skulls, he was up late at night busting. Damn, Vegeta, I get it. Just wanted to make sure we were clear. Before he knew it, the earth had softened him up, and he became a shadow of his former self. So Babidi was his way out. He was a chance to go back to the way that he was before, and put his focus on the only thing that really mattered. Goku stared at his rival for a second, and without elaborating further, looked the dude straight in the eyes and called cap without saying much else. The short, unrefined response I know cut the Vegeta's core worse than if Goku would have went on a 10-minute monologue questioning him. Goku's answer indicated to Vegeta that he knew he was full of it, and Vegeta knew this too. His family wasn't making him weaker. Goku grew up on Earth with folks he loved, and he had been knocking the dust off Chi-Chi since he was a young buck. He was still putting the screws to anybody dumb enough to come to Earth looking for smoke. For all his anger and big words, what actually happened was in the heat of frustration, Vegeta took a shortcut and was now being put to task for it. But right as Vegeta was preparing to knock Goku's lips off for the call-out, his golden-haired rival stopped in his tracks and began looking elsewhere, as there may be a bigger problem on the horizon that was cause for a ceasefire. And right here, on the advent of the ultimate evil's birth, is where we'll call it. What can you even really say, man, about the Goku vs. Majin Vegeta fight? Every fan at this point knows it's a certified hood classic, and there's a reason it takes a slot in so many people's favorite DBZ moments list. There's definitely a few things that popped off in the middle of the beatdown as well, but I wanted to dedicate a full episode to this one because I feel like it deserves it, and we'll recap some of the things I missed in the next vid. Tune in next time, y'all, as Goku turns his attention away from Vegeta and towards an unknown presence that mysteriously made itself known. It appears that the anticipated arrival of Majin Buu was finally at hand. While heroes combined might be enough to take the villain out, or has the Pandora's box that just opened spell disaster for life as they know it? Only one way to find out. Be easy, y'all, and catch you again in the next video.